Hi everyone, it's Dave Bennett. It is January 16th, 2018. Time for an LPE update. Let me let you know what's going on because a lot's happening fast. Thank you for your patience. I know I get behind on these updates and it's really a pain, but so many things are happening so fast. I keep waiting for answers the next morning from my programmers as to where we're at, how much longer it's going to be, so that I can tell you something interesting. Having said that, let me go over this much now. So first, a fact or two, just this kind of thing comes in. Somebody will say, hey, if we're listening to the call logs or recorded calls, and let's say it's for pest control, Atlanta, Georgia, okay, just to name something, they might say, how come we have a caller calling in from Chicago, Illinois? You know, because it'll look like the caller's calling from Chicago, Illinois. And it's good of you to ask us that just in case somehow we didn't get the geography set right for a campaign, okay, and you know, then it would look way off. We've been really good about doing that, but don't mind you asking. Anyway, once in a long while you see that, and that's exactly because the guy, you know, he got his cell phone back there. He never did change the phone number, and so reverse caller ID lookup is looking up last known information and seeing him as, you know, when you got that phone number, you were in Chicago, so your phone is in Chicago, even if the last known address is in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. Still, the short notes on the caller logs are just going to show where he got the phone, basically where he got the phone number, okay, on his phone. And so that's what's going on there. Okay, the next one. I had some guys contact me and say, hey, you know, you said you built in the feature where we can swap out our shared holdings for, you know, anything else on the same tier. Like if we want to go with a different state on the same website or switch to a new website, even a website in a different industry, you know, as long as it's same tier shared, right? Then you can swap it for anything else that's available in the system. And that's true. You should be able to do that. But then when we look back, we realized it wasn't based on whether you had the information with the tier, it was based on your transaction history in the system. So we went through and actually added everyone in. We think we got everyone. Let us know if we missed you. And that means this. Let me reiterate. If you have holdings in your system, if you have active jobs and or live campaigns, okay, then it means that that position is locked down. Things are happening on it, and you're locked into the payments on that, and so you're locked into that. Okay, that cannot be switched. We can't change it. There is no get website button, and you shouldn't. You're in the middle of a campaign that's actually happening, one or more on your position. Now, for something that doesn't have any active jobs or live campaigns happening on it yet, we can do it. Now we can get robocalls, we can get our cold callers calling, which we're finding is much stronger than robocalls for the purpose intended. So that's cool. It's doing the right kind of job. Okay. Um, but having said that, if you do want to switch to something new, like for instance, a lot of you guys, there is now a pool parts installer option that we put into the system. And I know that a lot of the states are northern, probably not going to see much demand for pool parts right now, because it's, you know, it's been cold, really cold winter. It's cold in a lot of the US right now. But there are southern states available, you know. And so definitely you could swap to that, but you could swap to anything that's available in the system. If you want to go from distressed homes to lawyer DUI to auto towing to pest control, large animals or pest control small or whatever, you can make those switches anytime. As long as your position isn't locked into anything, it's not locked down by something that's happening live on it, then you can swap it. What's the cool advantage of that? As we in the house are figuring out which areas that we can break open wider and start getting more money to flow through, right? Some of you guys are going to want to follow that trend real fast, right? For instance, distressed homes, totally profitable. Just how do we locate the reps instead of the main companies in each state? We have to get around to it. We know it can be done. Yeah, if you go through Yelp, you can start looking up the individual real estate agents. So cross layer that with guys who are offering distressed home features, you know, buy your house for cash. Okay. So if you're reaching out to the people directly in each city across the nation, then we can get them to listen. Whoever's listening, there you go. Cold callers can do that. We can try to robotext if we can easily gather or harness lots of their phone numbers. So this is totally cool because we're close to breaking that open, and that is something where a lot of money can be made across the nation every year. Okay. What about lawyer DUI? Expensive, but totally worth it. When a guy calls in and he needs to have a DUI lawyer, he needs to have a DUI lawyer. What makes it expensive? Usually it takes 2 or 3 calls before anyone's going to actually speak on the phone because they go to call and they're already so nervous. They're either afraid somebody's overhearing, they don't want that to happen. Maybe they got off at lunch and they hopped in their car, they got the windows up, and they're just trying to do this and get this over with. Or the first time they hit the button and they go to call, they're like, I just can't call, or they start calling and then they hang up because they just can't. They're still having trouble facing that they're doing this, right? It's understandable. Now, to the degree which we caught the information for the guy and we can text it to the client, have the client call him back right away, that's great. That's cool. But we're going to miss that in the recording. Okay, just so you know, I mean, the guy might call him back. We would miss that in the recording if we're forwarding the information forward. So usually we wouldn't try to do that. We're trying to capture the recordings because that's what we're selling. Having said that, it might take 2, 3 calls to capture a sale, but then the sale, it's totally profitable for the lawyer and totally profitable for us. And we've seen that already by the numbers. It's clear. So the degree to which we can keep going out across the nation with that plan, the better. Now, pest control is a little trickier. One thing about pest control, it's its own double-edged sword in a lot of ways. One is it's in high demand. Okay, there are lots of pest control calls. Okay, mostly for small animals, mice and stuff. There are just a lot, ants and stuff. But the flip side is the pest control guys go out, clean up, take their cash, and run. They jet on to the next job and let the guy go. And the guy didn't want to sign a retainer, right? He just wants a pest gone, wants to pay one time, and that's it. So then the guy goes. Well, guess what? A couple of weeks later, the bugs may start to reappear. And what do? Try to call the same company back to say you didn't finish the job properly, get out here and complete the job, right? And that's where the pest control guy's saying you didn't get the retainer, I'm going to have to charge you as a new job. But that just means they're back to having to get a new job from whoever it is, right? Point is, when they call, if they're calling because they think that that's us, like our client over here, but they're really trying to call that client over there, this client can't really talk them into it. They want to get a hold of that client first and see if they can get the guy to come back out for free, right? That's their first interest, okay? Now, where these guys can usually turn them over is where somebody is really shocked that they would let it happen, and these guys are trying to talk fast to get them to say, just go with us instead. That's cool, but that's your double-edged sword, okay? So anyway, here's what we did. We went through and cleaned up all the competitor keywords and got them out of the system. Then we got rid of dynamic keyword insertion so that Google would quit doing that and left ourselves with phrase matching on all these industries. Okay. And we said, okay, and we turned on campaigns, and then we noticed what Google was doing. Google was taking our phrase and going ahead and adding in the competitor name that somebody was searching for. So if you're saying Pinnacle Pest Control, if your keyword is pest control, somebody is looking for someone in particular, eco-friendly pest control, and you're someone else, bugs be gone pest control. So we said pest control is the phrase keyword, but somebody searches for, something else, right? Eco-friendly pest control or whoever they are, someone else, okay? Google will let that show up because it's matching by phrase. For those of you who don't know what that means, it means this. Say you have a keyword. Google will allow that in your phrase, that exact match of those exact words, with anything before it, anything after it, or both. Okay, so all three of those combinations. So if it's pest control, then bugs be gone pest control matches the phrase pest control. Or pest control specialists, right, matches the phrase pest control because it's a phrase. The words pest control are together. You can go all the way out. Best bug removal from home. Okay, that could be a phrase. Now, if somebody goes best bug removal from Atlanta home, that would break the phrase. See, that would not match the phrase. So the ad doesn't show. But if somebody goes, Atlanta, Georgia, best bug control for home, well, that does not break the phrase up. So the phrase is still intact with something in front of it or behind it, okay? Or both. All right, so anyway, when we cleared everything else out, then Google still was starting to show, especially with pest control and occasionally with garage door repair. Other people's company names too, like garage doors down to referrals. So, you know, that's where we pick up some of that. And we said, okay, and we talked about it a long time. How do we deal with that? We said, well, here would be the cleanest possible way to go. It's also the biggest, but this is what we decided to do. We're going to go exact match instead of phrase match. And here's the reason. When you show up for phrase matches with other company names, Google charges more because now you're allowing, you know, your competitor names to bring up your phone number, right? That's just really balls to the wall advertising. And so Google charges more. All indications show that, and the costs show that too. And we're like, dang it, we don't like it. That's not our modus operandi to be utilizing the competitors' names. We're trying to avoid that. So we decided how to do it. And we're still recovering from the work, but it's totally worth it. Here's what it is. We said, okay, we got to go exact match. Now, here's the way exact match works. Think about it this way. If you really were going to look for garage door repair, let's say you came home one night drunk, like you normally do, and you pulled your car in like you normally do, but you accidentally hit the garage door and dented it in. And then you got out of your car and went in the house, thinking, I'll deal with it in the morning, you know, like you normally do. So you wake up and you went out to the garage door or inside the house and you hit the button to open the garage because you forgot your car was pulled all the way against the door. Now the garage door comes up and you really have a problem. Okay, so you're going to need to contact someone for garage door repair or maybe even garage door replacement. How many different ways does the average layman really type garage door repair, garage door replacement? How many different phrasings can you come up with for that? It's not really a lot, right? Not really a lot. But you could think garage door repair, and then you might kind of get the book. So go, wait a minute, garage door repair specialists or garage door repair company, right? So there are different keywords. And maybe you're more specific. It's like the runner, garage door runner repair, garage door coil repair, spring repair, garage door key code installation. There are certain things that you may indeed type. You know, there is that stack of keywords which we can research and use, and that's easy. That much is easy. Then what? Then a lot of people do type in city-based information. They might say garage door repair Denver, garage door repair Denver, CO for Colorado, or garage door repair Denver, Colorado. So here's what we're doing. We're exact matching all those combinations, all the wording combinations that make sense, so that we can get all of these in the way people might type it. If they type garage door repair in Denver, Colorado, garage door repair specialists in Denver, Colorado, we come out with all those combinations. What's that look like? I just want to show you. So AdWords, right? Here is, okay, this one's for Pest Solutions in Atlanta, and I've got, we did one for small and one for general, you know, to cover bigger items. And so small, that's like spider and bug control, right? Termite control, right? Termite extermination, house termite inspection, etc., etc., right? That doesn't look like it covers everything, but look, this is from 1001 to 1500 out of 13,167 combinations that are all exact match. Okay, so if you've got, you know, pest control bee's nest in Atlanta is an exact search that somebody does, we'll show up for it. The reason we're not showing up right now, we just flipped this thing on. It's almost the end of the day, right? We just got to where we want to be for these things. All right, so we did these huge. They're huge, but they're exact. So no more competitor names can show up because we're not doing phrase matching anymore. They cannot show up. They're exact. okay? And they're exhaustive. And we can still add more combinations in, even if we happen to duplicate, because Google will sort out the dupes. That's already fine, okay? So no matter what combinations we think up and create lists for and add them in, they get cleaned up, okay? This is 13,167 different keyword combinations matching on exact only for small. And then there's another one for general, similar size. Just its own keyword stacks, okay, to keep covering everything else, right? Now, that's part of a massive equation, well, a cool equation, okay? So on the one hand, we did that. On another hand, right, as the leads come in, we have this full-scale vetting program. So there were leads that some of our cold callers were pushing through too fast, and we had to say, no, they don't count, they don't vet. So we are not going to spend anyone's money on these things. Not yours, not mine, not anyone's, all right? We need to protect your money as best we can, use it wisely, and build until we hit that stair-stepping mechanism that'll just take us all the way to the moon. And we're really close, especially since we did those exact match campaigns. So far for 6 of the industries, we're doing them for all, and then we're going to put them up. Now, that means that 99% of the calls coming through cannot be, oh, I misunderstood and dialed the wrong number anymore. And it won't be competitors either. You know, people won't be looking for the competitor intentionally, right? And so if they click on us, it's because they see us as one great option, okay? Which is what we want, okay? And it's just been hard to get to this point, realize we needed to, but this is a great point. Somebody asked, and what if you still were showing competitor keywords at all? The answer is, what do you do at that point? We do a scrape of the competitor names. Then we can do that, and we can put that in as negative keywords. All the names, bucks, bugs be gone, you know, anything like that. We can do a full scrape by industry, by area, or just nationwide. Grab anything that's a company name per se, okay? That's not a generic keyword, and put it in as a negative keyword. And then if Google's saying, okay, most of that's totally cool, but there are a few that conflict, we can decide whether we want those to be considered keywords or not, right? And, you know, if the guy calling would think, you know what, that's a keyword, okay, it's a normal word, then if they click to call, it's because they're considering us, okay? And that's totally awesome, okay? So because we've learned how to vet, this is great. It means that no longer is a lead simply because they sign up. We actually use humans to vet them in, and other humans are going to call back to verify the information, make sure everything's right, and that they can have a comprehensive discussion with them, a cohesive, sensible discussion with them. Enough to say, we're willing to put money into this guy and try this out, and he, on the other end, he or she, knows what the drill is. They understand what's happening here, and they understand what's going on. Then we said, then we also went further and said, what else can we do with that? Here's what it is that's awesome. We decided, we already know, you know, what a lot of these guys are willing to spend, but on the form, we ask how much you're willing to pay per lead, okay? Now that allows us to do what? It allows us to know how much they're expecting to pay per lead, so we can immediately see, just with a few first clicks being the right keywords, we can see whether that fits in. So we figure the budget, and then we split the remainder after our profit, whatever's left to cover the costs, we split that across 2 calls. Should take 2 calls to get a good lead on average. We're just saying that. Some industries, if we decide to go 3, we go 3. Like DUI might take 3 because guys are so generally hesitant in the beginning to lock themselves in and talk to a lawyer. If we have to, we do. But we figure our profit, subtract that, okay, and then we split the rest up. And we say, all right, that's our goal. We can either hit it or not for each guy as we go on this exact match approach. Now, the final point that's awesome about that is this. The biggest thing you might be thinking is, well, doesn't that mean that's going to take a really long time for me to get enough clicks because of the exact match campaign, right? Like if I pick up a certain industry, okay, or a certain AdWords campaign, okay, and it's just going to go real slow, okay, then what? Here's what we also did. We built a mechanism in the back based on this new routine where we can link campaigns. So let's say you paid for AdWords for Jan.16. Okay. Let's say it's not moving fast enough. It's getting impressions, it's getting some clicks, but not enough. It's only getting a couple of weeks or something. It's great. No one's opposed to that. But what about getting more? And the answer is we link other accounts to your campaign. So that allows us in the back end to go ahead and fund more of the campaigns in the list in the back end. So here, when we come back through and we start going through the campaigns that we have, we can go ahead and flip more on in your name and you're running those, okay? The point of that is that we can have parallel campaigns run under your one budget, okay, as linked campaigns. So we're tracking in our system, that you paid for one, the other ones are linked. So you didn't pay special for them, so your budget's covering them all. But that's just it. We only needed to be able to track that to understand what's going on. And then we can see what that budget's trying to cover, okay? And by linking, we can link another campaign, another, we can link multiple campaigns to yours, okay? And that means that we can have Detroit pest control, and if it's not enough, we can also add in the Atlanta, Georgia pest control. If it's not enough, we can also add in the Denver, Colorado pest control. We'll usually do it the same way, pest control. But that allows us to link the campaigns and continue adding them and get leads to all these guys. And then, that also means that we can do some other things. That's totally awesome in the beginning. There's another way to go about this. What if we actually opened up our exact match campaigns across the nation first, right? Using a dummy phone number, just long enough to flip them on. And what? The budget's low, but to see which cities, even a low budget, is hitting first. Then we contact any one of those guys and say, hey, look, pick up your phone, type in this keyword on Google. Do you see the position one spot? That is totally available right now. There's 13,000 keywords connected to that campaign. It's totally available. It'll cost this much per lead. Do you want it? If the guy goes, I'd love to, but I can't, I don't know why, then we'll say, okay, just realize if you don't want it, we hang up. We're going to call your competitor next. Okay? If the guy still says, I really, really wish I could, please, do anything else you could do, I don't know what we can do for the guy. We're just going to hang up and call the next guy, and then call the next guy, and then call the next guy. In other words, we could actually find the most profitable campaigns by flipping the process over. First, run a bunch of linked campaigns through a bunch of cities that aren't the biggest cities, but they're also not tiny. They're medium. They're like, South Bend, Indiana, Notre Dame, Fighting Irish types. That size city, there's tons and tons. And when we run the campaigns across a bunch of places like that, we just see where the calls are coming in from, going to some dummy voicemail. Okay, leave your number. The ones that hit immediately, right? We can already see, and we already set the budget low to make sure it's within our specs, and then just go across the nation until we find what's hitting, and whichever ones are hitting within that budget, see how much faster that can be, because we can do 30 cities in a week, and then just whatever's hitting the right budget, just start calling, just pass it to the cold callers and go, hey, find someone who will take those up. This is our cost, for each good lead. And they will just call until they nail them all down. Okay, way faster. Probably absolutely the best way to go. So yeah, I want to say thank you for your patience, because I don't know anyone that does AdWords this way. I don't know anyone that thinks about it this way and that goes to all the trouble of doing it full out like this. But it's really the best stuff that we've been learning from this, and we know how to pull this off right. And so we're just doing tons the right way. Now, with all these leads that we have that we've been verifying versus the ones that we've been dropping, okay, the ones that are verified in and good to go, we're going to start assigning to you guys, those of you that made payments for this. And then if we have anything left over, we'll just start round robbing it through leftover campaigns that guys have open now. And then for all the guys that have websites with nothing happening on them, probably what we're going to wind up doing is our exact match campaigns for each industry. We're going to start creating them for a city list that we create of cities like South Bend, Indiana, Mishawaka, Elkhart, Goshen, etc., etc. And we're going to start running across the nation with those. And as we get it, in many of those cities, it's just immediately going to be correct within our budget, just immediately. And when that happens, or near immediately, you know, a few clicks in, when that happens, then we're immediately going to be able to start calling in through guys in that city. You know how many pest control guys are in one city? Even a medium-sized city like South Bend, like 20 or 30. Somebody's going to want it, and especially for the right price, right? So we just have gone about this the way everyone does, but the way we realized we can go about this because of the tools we have to play with, the way we can set this up is going to be the right way to go. So, I mean, hang in there. It's been a long ride. That's all I can say. Just trust me that tons are happening on the inside of the system and that this is so worth it because we are almost there. And as soon as we hit, we'll take care of it for everyone because we'll be able to. And this will be great. Anyway, that's all I have for the update right now. There's actually a whole different thing happening with a secret weapon that has to do with everyone who bought directories in the past. I'll get back to that later. That's entirely a parallel project that's been happening for a couple of months. It's just a different thing that a lot of you guys are going to like, which is cool because these two will tie together. You will be able to make more money from more methods as that other system is finished, which is close. A few of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You're really excited for it. Most of you just don't know yet, but I'm just trying to keep the focus here for this thing right now. I'm sure I'll do a separate video for that here like in a day. I think it's almost done. And then when we launch that too, and you see what's going on, I think you'll find that intriguing and how these two work together and the fact that we can use our cold callers in multiple ways. And therefore your cold caller payments can do multiple things that are totally useful. Yeah, this is interesting. Okay. Thank you very much. I'll finish this off. Go ahead and put this update out. Get back to what we're doing. Pretty soon you're going to see campaign statuses change. We're going to do our best over the next couple of days to get all the campaign statuses caught up as we get these leads assigned and get the campaigns done. All the you know, all these new guys, we have to take care of them. We got to get them locked into call tracking metrics and all this other stuff. So we're going to do our best to get all this finished and mark everything out, let you guys get your leads, and then you'll see where we're at. And yeah, hang in there. More's to come. You'll see the emails appear for the status changes on the campaigns over the next like 2 days. Probably we're going to hit every one of you. And those of you that want to go in and shift to a different industry, you can do that. You know, if you don't have anything active on yours. Otherwise, just keep your ears peeled because we are going to make each of these industries work and we can run across the nation doing it. And so there are a lot of ways that we can pull this off. Okay. I'll talk to you again soon. You guys have a good one. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your support. It is your payments and your stuff, your interaction and patience, as well as payments, that are making it possible for us to build this. All right. It's how all this is coming alive, and it's getting very, very close. All right. Take care.